it's Teresa, and today is a special video. I'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes. So I am going to make my own wood round. I am starting off with a bunch of those larger paint stir sticks. I want to say you get 3 of them for $1, maybe just a little over $1. I will list them for you below in the description box. I get mine from Lowe's. And I'm just going to put a generous amount of Gorilla Glue or any kind of wood glue you have will work too. And we are going to glue them basically all together. Now try your best just to get them really nicely put together. Use do this on like a flat surface so that you are going to, have a good place to put them together. The flat surface is what we're really going for. If it's not completely perfect, as far as the straight togetherness is not a big deal because we're going to cut it. But again, we're just going to do that all the way across, and the total width of it is going to end up to be at most 16 inches if I remember right. And I'm going to do that with all of these stir sticks, and I can't remember off the top of my head how many I did, but here they all are. Tip is to put down a piece of wax paper underneath. That will make your life a whole lot easier. And then this is the side with the ruler part, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking some wood glue and I'm kind of filling in like the cracks a little bit. That way you can, get a little bit better of a secure hold, you know what I mean? And I did do hot glue on this side as well to do that same, a little bit better hold. So I cut it out a circle with my scroll saw, and I just kind of took a pizza pan and drew a circle around, so nothing too complicated. And now we're going to take this wood tint from Folk Art, which is a Plaid product, and we're going to just paint that all on. And you'll see here I've kind of started it and then just showing you kind of finishing it off. It's really easy to use this particular product. It is very watery. It's water-based. It's very liquidy, and so what I do is I'll just paint it on and wipe it off pretty quick because I didn't want a real dark tone to it. You know what I mean? And next we're going to use another Plaid product. This one is the plaster colored chalk paint from Waverly. You can get this one at Walmart. And I'm really focusing in on the lines where you can definitely get a lot of that glue-like look. You can see it essentially is what I'm saying. And if you do a quick sanding before you stained it, you probably would be able to avoid that. Or if you buy your own wood round, you wouldn't see it because it wouldn't be there. So I wanted to do it, like a pretty, reasonable price for, the wood rounds because they get pretty pricey. And now I'm just going to go through and do just a quick sanding. I kind of wish I hadn't done this, to be honest. So if I were you, I would skip this because it really just basically, instead of just fading the white, it really just makes it to where you can see the glue. So avoid this. And see now, like I said, you can see the glue, so I'm going back in again with that same Waverly chalk paint and plaster just to kind of hide all of those little spots that you can now see where the glue was. Because, it's naturally going to seep through some just because they weren't locked in there. And now we're going over it with another wood tint. This one is in the color gray, and I'm just kind of using it to fade that, white or almost white paint. I didn't want to completely eliminate, the wood grain. I cannot talk today. I didn't want to eliminate the wood grain, so that's why I was like, well, I don't want to paint it completely, you still want to see the wood grain part. It is wood. And this is going to, like I said, it really tones it down. And then I was like, well, gee, now I need to amp up a little bit more of the walnut color that was on the first place. I don't remember if I told you that. That original wood tint is in the color walnut. And now we're done. And now we're just going to give it a nice coating front and back with that sealer. And I'm just showing you, I have a 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe cut down. I'll leave the measurement down for you below. And I'm going to use one of those flanges, and I'm going to use one of these lovely little tin buckets from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to just do a pretty good coat of hot glue around the inside rim because I don't want it to leak. And we are going to glue down that metal flange. I'll link it for you below in case you're curious. I got that from Lowe's, so if you want to get one similar, or if you want to get the same one, it'll be linked for you. And we did just a combination of some Gorilla Glue, which is actually kind of like E6000, and hot glue. And now we're going back to our wood round. And we're just going to kind of find like the basic like middle point so I know where to put those little handles. We're just going to use some nautical rope, and I've already kind of cut it out just based on like the glass size. If you remember from the thumbnail, this is going to be a little spot to hold some wine glasses. Now, mind you, my wine glasses are plastic because I like to use those for, you know, outside and things like that. Nobody wants to drop a glass and break it. I just kind of found the center point by taking a ruler and just kind of doing a cross section kind of thing. And we're going to do pretty much the same method of gluing down this metal flange with, you know, our permanent hold glue and our hot glue. And once we do that, I've used, like I said, I've kind of already found like the middle point, and we're just going to get that kind of more or less eyeballed in the middle with the aid of our, you know, middle point finder, technical term there. And next, I am going to hide my jagged cutting skills. So I did do this on my scroll saw. It was harder than I expected it to be, even though I had, you know, like something I had already drawn a circle on the wood to give me a guide. It still was kind of jagged, so this is going to help hide it. So like I said, it's kind of one of those things. If you're really skilled at it and you do a really good job of cutting it, you could probably skip this, especially if you don't like it. So I liked the idea of kind of adding just a little bit more of a touch to it. So I just hot glued it all the way around. This first piece of the rope is up on the top part, and then we'll just glue down, you know, that little edge. There's a little seam, but it's not overwhelmingly noticeable, so I'm not too concerned about it. And then I decided I wanted to do another layer of it, and this one is more on the side of it. So that's really going to kind of camouflage that slightly wonky circle that I have going on. And I found the easiest way to do it is with it facing upward. The first, you know, go around of the first like little area of gluing, I did it upside down and it didn't work as well. So there's another little tip for you. Once that is done, I've got that piece of PVC pipe that I spray painted. I will leave the color down for you below, and we're just going to tighten our flange, and I'll do the same in the bucket to give it a nice secure hold, which is nice because you can still detach it and repaint it if you need to. And here it is, all finished up. I have to say, I absolutely love this. I'd seen it from Kirklands and it was like $400, and I was like, oh no thank you, I can make that myself. So today, like I mentioned, is very special because it is part of a challenge with What's Jamie Making. Now, if you don't know who she is, and her husband, they call him the husband on the channel. This is a new challenge that they're going to be doing every month where they pick out a particular type of item, and that is what your challenge item is. For us, it was wood rounds, and they were pretty lax about it. It basically had to be wood and round. And now here's the interesting part. This is all very much an actual challenge. Whoever gets the most votes from people like you who go and vote on their Google form will get $50 donated to their charity of choice, which for me, of course, is Fisher House. So don't forget to check out my description below for the link to the Google form to go vote. Vote for me, of course. So we're going to go ahead and get back into the crafts. So on this next project, we are just going to use one of these little round cork coaster, essentially. That's what we're making. And it is from Beebeecraft. I will have that link for you below as well if you're interested. And all I've done is I have this really pretty like not mosaic, like Moroccan tile kind of thing cut out off of my Cricut. I'll include it for you below. I'll do it as both like the SVG file and as a PDF in case you just want to print it. And I've put it down on the coaster, and now we're going to just do a quick coat of Mod Podge. That way when we're painting, it doesn't end up, you know, seeping through. And I'm going to use this apple barrel paint, and I'm going to sponge it on. And I learned this little tip here from my friend Jamie over at Simple Root Simple Living, where she uses a clothespin to hold the little makeup sponge applicator when she's stenciling. I was like, that is genius because I get paint all over myself all the time. I'll link her channel for you below too. Once we're finished, with that, I think I did probably 2-ish coats, maybe like 1.5 coats, wherever it looked like it needed. And we're just going to use, one of these lovely little Cricut tools. They're for so many good things. And I am just going to pull off the stencil vinyl. Actually, it's not stencil vinyl. I lied. That's just removable vinyl that I have from Cricut. I felt like it was going to give me a little bit better ability to cut, because if I use stencil vinyl, I just don't think it works really well for finer details. And this has obviously got a lot smaller details to it. And I'm going to just obviously show you a lot of the process of removing it. And now I'm going to take some of these little wood rounds to give it a little bit more stability, because everything's wood rounds today, guys. And I'm just going to, plop that right there. It's already got the adhesive backing for you. It's really, really nice to work with. I really like these coasters, or the cork part at least. And once we're done with that, I'm going to go in again with some more dishwasher safe Mod Podge just to give it a nice seal. And here they are. I think they work really well for our summer DIYs today. Now we've got another wood round. Now this one is just a really thin one. It's from Target. I bought it online. I'll link it for you below. I believe, if I remember right, it's 8 inches. And we're going to do that same walnut wood tint that I did on the first project. And this time though, I'm applying it with a baby wipe. I have never applied this particular product with a baby wipe. And I was like, you know what? I want to get through this quick. I want to get it a much lighter application of it. And it worked all right. It was definitely faster than like a paintbrush where you're paint it on, wipe it off. And then it dries super quick. And then I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk paint in plaster just to give it, a little bit of a lighter tone. Also, it gives it, a little bit more of a rustic look to it. And we'll just do that through the whole thing. A lot drier brush than, you don't want to go, glob it on, which I've done plenty of times where I've done way more of the, distressing than I meant to, but that's okay. We're going to do some layering. I've got a lot of that in this video where you're just kind of layering on those different colors. Once we are eventually done with that, we will go ahead and then find our center point. I got this little doodad. Oh, I didn't get it. My husband got it for me from Amazon. I'll link it for you, or something similar to it below. And I just kind of used it to find our center-ish point. It might not be perfect because I didn't sit there forever to look for it. And I've got another file. I'll share this one with you too, of course, where you can go and, either print it. I'll do both, the SVG and the printable. And this is on just removable vinyl, and we're just going to plop that on. I was surprised it took me a lot less time than it normally does. And once we're done with that, I'm going to do this one, another thing, same way. Coat a Mod Podge down first. Same apple barrel paint. I was kind of going with like the same color tones. And like I said, this lovely little trick here is just definitely saved me from being completely covered in blue paint. And blue paint, I don't know if you've gotten it on your fingers before, but it stains and it's there for a while. So thank Jamie for showing me this. And then once we've gotten the full stencil covered, I'm going to just go over and do a dry brushing with some white, and we're going to go and layering. Like I said, we're layering a lot of different things on this one, and I'm not going to show you the full reveal of this until we get to the final project. I mean, not that you didn't see the thumbnail, but I'm not going to show it to you until we're all the way done with it. Once the dry brushing is done, I just kind of check on it to see if I like it. I'm just going to show you just a little bit of it. And once I start peeling it away, you'll kind of get an idea of the design, and I just love it too. I don't know, to me, this is very summery, giving you all of those like tile looks to it. So it's like the Moroccan tile, the, Mediterranean tile. I love it. Now I'm going to use another one of the wood rounds. This is actually a failed project, so it wasn't wasteful at all, because normally I would have just thrown it away, but I'm just going to go in and glue down some of these beads. They're just some leftover beads from a garland that I bought from Walmart at Christmas. And when I'm doing this, I'm kind of like dragging my glue towards the middle so that you don't end up with little glue strings everywhere. Once that's done, I'll take some Gorilla Glue. This is, like I said, similar to E6000, and I'm just going to give it a quick, dab of it behind those different beads, because I'm just trying to give it a little bit more security. and I'll take some Waverly chalk paint in plaster and do a pretty good coat of it on the outside of the beads. Just because the brown wasn't really working for this. It was too brown, you know what I mean? It was like too much brown going on this little project. And it's funny, the garland I had in white and I had in brown, and I didn't have anywhere near enough beads of the white. So I was like, well, I'm gonna make them white. And I'm gonna show you a trick. If you have a dark color of bead that's not working for you, here's the way to do it. You coat it in white, and now next I'm gonna just take that wood tint in gray and I'm gonna coat that. Then I was like, well, let me wipe it away a little bit, and we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're just kind of layering it up, making it work for us. Isn't that what we all do though in projects? We just kind of take whatever it is that we have and we just kind of make it work. I felt like Tim Gunn there for a second. Make it work. Give me a like a scissor icon or something down below in the comments if you knew where that came from. And this is the wood tint and walnut, where I'm doing kind of the same thing, just layering it over the gray. And now I'm going to take a smaller brush and get like in between. Had I thought this through, originally, I probably would have done this before I actually glued down the beads, but you know, it's one of those things where you're like, it's fine, just put the beads down. And then I was like, ugh, I don't like the white underneath it. It was too white, you know what I mean? Even though it's not really white, it was just too much. So I'll go over everything, kind of giving it a really nice full coat, and it's giving it this really pretty like grayish brown color, like a wood-ish color, which actually works because my patio set that I had just got recently is like a grayish brown wood. So it worked perfectly. And I'm going to go through and just do a quick dab of the same Gorilla Glue first. This stuff, it actually sets up pretty quick, so you can't take forever when you're working for it, because it'll set up and then that'll be the end of it, you know what I mean? And then I did hot glue on top of that. And again, I'm not showing you the reveal yet. And we're just going to add some little feet. These are some little half beads. I didn't want to use too many of them because I love them and I haven't used them on a real project yet, you know, other than this. This is obviously a real project, but you know what I mean. They're not there for decorative reasons. I'm just going to use these as feet. And once we are finished with that, I did do just a quick coat of it, of that wood tint as well. And here's the final project. Don't you just love it? I love it. And here's the whole set, kind of all goes together, and it's really fun, and I love it. Do not forget to go check out that link for the Google form, and don't forget, coming up on Tuesday is my Patriotic Challenge. It's going to be amazing. Don't forget to check it out, and don't forget to leave me a comment below, and I will see you next time.